You want to know how far an HOA can really go? How twisted one self-appointed neighborhood watchdog can become when drunk on power? Fine. Let me tell you exactly how I ended up standing barefoot in my driveway, fists clenched, as the president of the Oak Meadow Ridge HOA shoved my emotional support dog into the back of her SUV. My dog whining, terrified, confused, stolen right in front of me. I know you've got questions. I did too. The kind that leave you staring at the ceiling all night, your stomach in knots, your mind racing. Why would someone who claims to uphold neighborhood unity do something so inhumane? And how could she possibly believe she'd get away with it? If you've ever lived under an HOA's thumb, you might assume this is about some petty rule, maybe a leash regulation or a noise complaint. But what happened to me to my dog Remy goes so far beyond the ordinary. This story touches on corruption, environmental fraud, shady land deals, and the unraveling of an entire community. My name is Daniel Mercer. I moved into Oak Meadow Ridge just over a year ago with my 13-year-old son, Liam, and my Labrador, Remy. My wife passed away from an aneurysm, sudden, cruel, and shattering. I needed a new place, a new start, somewhere that didn't carry the weight of every memory. Remy isn't just a dog. He's a trained, certified emotional support animal. He's been by my side since I lost Sarah. His calm presence keeps my panic attacks in check. His big, sleepy eyes are my safety net. And for Liam, he's the only dog he's known since he was a toddler. Oak Meadow Ridge looked like a suburban postcard when we moved in. Neatly trimmed lawns, white picket fences, bird feeders hanging from porches. People waved politely from their driveways. But it didn't take long to realize there was a rot underneath all that polish. The HOA here is run by a woman named Dolores Grant. Picture a pastel cardigan and a clipboard glued to a body that moves like it's on a mission. Dolores has that practiced smile, like she's auditioning to be your favorite aunt, but get closer and her eyes are cold, calculating. She ran the HOA like a dictatorship dressed in pearls. At first, I tried to avoid problems. When I got a notice about my trash bins not being pulled in fast enough, I adjusted. When the second notice told me my mailbox color didn't comply with HOA standards, I repainted it. I figured being agreeable would make things easier. Then I got the letter about Remy. It said several residents had complained that a large, aggressive dog had been spotted near the community walking trail. The letter said animals over a certain weight should be confined to private property unless leashed and formally approved by the board. Remy? Aggressive? He'd sooner lick a burglar than bark. I was furious, but I kept it together. I emailed Dolores with Remy's ESA documentation and explained my situation. I told her about my anxiety, about losing Sarah, and how vital Remy was to both me and Liam. She replied with a single line, "We will be verifying whether your documentation is valid for our community's specific regulations." That's when it began. Over the next 2 weeks, new letters started showing up taped to my door this time. Complaints about the height of my grass, the brightness of my porch light, even how I stacked our recycling bins. It didn't feel random. It felt targeted. I tried brushing it off until Dolores confronted me at the park by the pond. She came out of nowhere, clipboard in hand, tight-lipped like she'd just bitten into something sour. She told me the pond area was now designated as a protected wetland and Remy was in violation by even walking near it. There were other dogs, their smaller ones, but she claimed their owners had special permissions. When I asked how to get that same permission, she told me larger dogs were under additional review and I should consider rehoming the animal if it proved incompatible with the community. That was the first spark of real anger in me. Something wasn't right. I started researching Oak Meadow Ridge's history. Turns out our neighborhood bordered a genuine wetland protected zone, supposedly off limits for development. But I discovered that Dolores and 2 other board members were tied to a developer called Brookside Ventures. That company had been trying for years to buy up land around the wetland to build luxury townhomes. Only problem? The HOA bylaws protected that land from being sold without a unanimous resident vote. So what do you do when you can't legally take land? You push the people off it. That's exactly what Dolores was doing. She was hitting certain homeowners with ridiculous fines until they either gave up and left or were forced to sell. Families with bigger pets, larger yards, non-standard house colors, they were all being singled out. Remy became their leverage against me. One morning, I found a fine taped to my mailbox, $200 for non-compliant pet enclosure. I asked what that meant. Dolores said my backyard fence was 2 inches too tall for a dog over 50 pounds. It wasn't. I measured. Twice. But the appeal I filed vanished into a black hole. No reply. Nothing. Then things turned dark. One morning, I woke up to all 4 tires on my car slashed. Liam started telling me he felt like someone was watching him while he played in the yard with Remy. I started spotting Dolores standing across the street with binoculars. Then came the night I'll never forget. I was sorting bills while Liam played Xbox upstairs. Remy was snoozing at my feet. The doorbell rang. I opened it to see Dolores flanked by her usual minions Janine, her loyal sidekick, and a lanky old man named Carl. They demanded to see Remy's documentation again. Claimed they had new evidence that it was invalid. I told them to leave. Dolores asked whether Remy was currently medicated. I laughed, then shut the door in her face. I didn't know how far they go. A week later, I came back from a pharmacy run one maybe 40 minutes. The front door was ajar. My heart dropped. No barking. No Remy. No Liam, he was still at school. I searched every room, every closet. The back door was locked. No signs of forced entry. Then I saw the letter under the welcome mat. Typed. HOA letterhead. No signature. For the safety of Oak Meadow Ridge, the animal in question has been removed pending further investigation into its certification status. If you wish to dispute this action, please attend the next HOA board meeting. I collapsed to my knees, shaking. I called the police. The officer was skeptical at first, suggested maybe Remy had gotten out. But then he read the letter. His face changed. He helped me file an official report, stolen property. Because by law, that's what pets are considered. But we both knew this was deeper. Remy is protected by the Fair Housing Act. You can't take an ESA without a court order. What Dolores had done wasn't just wrong, it was possibly criminal. Liam got home and broke down when I told him. I promised him we'd get Remy back. I called an attorney the next morning. She was stunned when I explained. She told me to gather everything: emails, letters, notes, timestamps. Then something strange happened. Neighbors' security cameras had gone offline the same afternoon Remy vanished. Every one of them. Coincidence? No chance. The next morning, I knocked on Dolores's door. She answered in a silk robe, smiling like she was about to offer me a cookie. "Where is Remy?" I asked, barely holding it together. "He's in a secure location while we verify his eligibility," she said. I promised legal action and left. That night, I received an anonymous email. No name. One attachment, a PDF titled Phase 2 Strategy Oak Meadow Ridge. It was an internal memo. Plan. A conspiracy. Phase 1. Intensify bylaw enforcement. Phase 2. Remove obstacles, animals, structures, or uncooperative owners. Remy's name was on it. So was mine. I sent it to my attorney. She nearly leapt through the phone. "This isn't just evidence," she said. "It's a roadmap to a lawsuit." The next day, a friend texted me a picture of a big black dog at a suburban kennel 30 miles away. It looked like Remy. I drove there like a madman. The staff told me a woman had dropped him off 3 days ago, said he was a stray. No microchip showed up. Ours had malfunctioned years back and the vet had never replaced it. When Remy saw me, he ran into my arms. I broke down crying. The staff said they had security footage of the drop-off. The woman wore a cap, but the license plate was visible. It was Janine's. That was the match to light everything. My attorney filed federal complaints, turned the footage over to the police. The case reopened with serious weight. The next day, Dolores summoned me to an emergency HOA hearing. The audacity. My attorney came with me. Dolores sat at the head of a long table, flanked by Janine, Carl, and 2 other board members. A dozen residents had shown up too, curious or maybe suspicious. Dolores accused me of faking Remy's documentation. My attorney presented the internal memo. Chaos followed. Gasps. Shouts. Neighbors demanded to know if it was real. Janine and Carl turned white. Dolores stammered. Someone yelled about being fined for planting the wrong kind of tulips. The room erupted. When my attorney showed the kennel footage, Janine's car, clear as day, the mood flipped. This wasn't about a dog anymore. It was about control, corruption, and criminal acts. Days later, Janine cracked. She confessed. Dolores had orchestrated everything. The land deals, the pressure, the theft. Police arrested Dolores on charges of theft and conspiracy to defraud. But it didn't stop there. My attorney contacted the DOJ's Civil Rights Division. When the feds stepped in, everything changed. Dolores had interfered with a federally protected accommodation. That's not just local trouble. That's federal territory. News stations picked up the story. HOA president arrested in ESA dog theft scandal. I saw Dolores's mugshot in the local paper. Her smile was gone. The HOA board imploded. Several members resigned. A petition formed to dissolve the HOA altogether, and it passed. A transitional neighborhood committee took over. We rewrote the bylaws. We added protections. We worked with a real conservation group to manage the wetlands ethically this time. Remy became a local hero. Liam finished the school year with more confidence than I'd seen in months. We even gave Remy a toy medal we called his service badge. As for Dolores, she tried to appeal, hired lawyer after lawyer. But the evidence was overwhelming. At sentencing, she pleaded no contest. She was fined heavily, barred from HOA involvement for life, and ordered to issue a public apology. That apology arrived by mail. It was generic, court-mandated, and lifeless. But I didn't need it. The real closure came when Liam and I took Remy for a walk by the pond. Families waved. Dogs barked playfully. A few kids threw a frisbee nearby. There, where Dolores once told me to rehome my dog, stood a new sign, Community Dog Park, all sizes welcome. I looked down at Remy and smiled. We didn't just get him back, we got our community back too. And if anyone ever tries that nonsense again, they know where to find me.